When he came back home after working overseas for 6 months, he expected his wife to run into his arms. He had missed her every single day, but instead, she stood there holding a newborn baby he had never seen before. She smiled awkwardly and said, "Meet Emma." He was shocked. A baby. He didn't even know she was pregnant. The baby was clearly just a few weeks old. Something felt wrong immediately. Please stay with me as I tell you my story, and please do not forget to support our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing with your loved ones. He tried to stay calm. He asked her when she found out she was pregnant. She said it happened just after he left, but he did the math in his head. He had been gone for 6.5 months. There was no way the baby could be his. He didn't say anything at first. He just stared at the baby, confused, while Amanda avoided eye contact. Over the next few days, Amanda acted strange. She was quiet, distracted, and didn't want to talk much. When he tried to ask questions, she changed the subject. He noticed their friends were acting weird too. Some avoided him. Others sent strange messages, like, "I'm here if you need anything," without saying more. His family didn't know what to say either. He started remembering little things. Before he left, Amanda had been texting someone a lot, always hiding her phone. She said it was work stuff, but now he wasn't so sure. He didn't want to believe the worst, but the signs were too many. He looked at Emma. She was cute and innocent, but he didn't feel anything. He didn't feel like her dad. One night, while Amanda was asleep, he quietly searched online and ordered a DNA test kit. He knew he couldn't ask her. She would flip out or lie again. He swabbed the baby's mouth while she slept and sent the test away. He didn't know what the results would say, but deep down, he already had a feeling. Something in his heart told him the truth was going to hurt, but he had to know for sure. The DNA results arrived in a plain envelope. He already knew what they would say, but reading the words still felt like a punch to the chest. He was not the biological father of Emma. It was there in black and white. No doubts, no maybe, just the truth he had been dreading. He didn't cry. He didn't scream. He just sat there, staring at the paper for a long time. Then he folded it neatly and put it in a folder with the other things he had started collecting. He knew he had to stay calm. Anger wouldn't help. What he needed was a plan. He started watching Amanda more closely. Her smiles felt fake. Her affection came in strange waves. Too much one moment, cold the next. He remembered little things from before he left for his job overseas. Amanda had been spending more time with his best friend, Marcus. At the time, he hadn't thought much of it. They grew up together. Marcus was like family. But now, in hindsight, it all felt different. There were moments, Amanda giggling at Marcus's jokes just a little too long, the way she looked at him when she thought no one was watching. He remembered one night before his trip when he walked into the room and both of them suddenly went silent. He had asked what was going on. They just laughed and said it was nothing. Now with the DNA test in hand, he couldn't pretend anymore. He confronted Amanda gently, asking if there was something she needed to tell him. She looked at him like he had lost his mind. "Are you serious?" she snapped. "You've been gone for half a year and now you're accusing me of cheating. You sound paranoid. I've been doing everything by myself. You should be thanking me." She turned it around so fast it made his head spin. She made him feel guilty for even asking, but he knew better. He wasn't imagining things. He didn't argue. He apologized, pretending to believe her lies. Then he started preparing. He bought a hidden camera and placed it in the living room, angled perfectly toward the couch and hallway. He also installed a small microphone behind the TV. He told Amanda he had picked up an extra shift at work and left the house early one Saturday morning. In reality, he parked his car down the street and waited. That same afternoon, Marcus showed up. They didn't wait long. Marcus kissed Amanda the moment he walked in. She laughed and whispered something about how clueless her husband was. They sat on the couch drinking wine, talking about how they could keep up the act. Marcus even joked, "He still thinks the baby's his?" What a joke. He watched the footage that night. It hurt, but it confirmed everything. No more doubts, no more lies. He hit pause, saved the video, and named the file Truth. The game was on now, and Amanda had no idea. He told Amanda he had to leave town for a short work trip, just 2 nights out of state. She didn't question it much. Maybe she was even relieved. What she didn't know was that he wasn't going anywhere. Instead, he was setting a trap. Before leaving, he installed small hidden cameras in the living room, hallway, and kitchen. He also placed a microphone near the couch, hidden behind a photo frame. Every device was synced to his phone and laptop. He acted normal, kissed Amanda goodbye, and left with a small suitcase. But instead of going to the airport, he drove to a friend's place across town and waited. That night, just as he suspected, Marcus showed up. He watched in real time as Amanda opened the door with a big smile. She looked different, lighter, happier. She kissed Marcus like she hadn't seen him in ages. They poured wine, sat close on the couch, and laughed like they didn't have a care in the world. Emma slept quietly in her crib, in the corner while they talked. The worst part wasn't the cheating, it was the things they said. Amanda laughed and said, "He thinks Emma is his. What an idiot." Marcus smirked, leaned back and replied, "Just milk him for a few years, then file for alimony. Let him pay for our life." They laughed harder. Amanda toasted to free money and dumb men. Every word burned in his ears. He felt something inside him go quiet. It wasn't rage or heartbreak. It was colder than that. It was focus. He watched the rest of the footage in silence. He didn't flinch, didn't cry, just sat still, listening, recording, remembering. It wasn't just betrayal anymore. It was a plan. And now he had proof. The next morning, he returned home just as he had said he would. Amanda acted normal, asked about his trip, kissed him hello. He kissed her back like nothing had changed, but everything had. Later that night, while she was asleep, he downloaded the video onto a flash drive. He labeled it in bold capital letters, LEVERAGE. He didn't know exactly what he would do next, but now the power was his, and Amanda had no idea. After watching the video of Amanda and Marcus together, something inside him changed. He no longer felt anger or sadness, just silence, cold, sharp silence. Around Amanda he stayed calm and polite. He still smiled, still nodded, still played the part of the clueless husband. But inside, he had checked out. He was no longer emotionally present, and Amanda didn't even notice. She was too busy living her double life, thinking she had fooled him completely. While she laughed at his jokes and kissed him goodnight, he started moving in the shadows. Quietly, he opened new bank accounts in his name only. He moved small amounts of money, just enough to avoid notice. He called a lawyer and began asking questions, learning what he needed to know without raising red flags. He scanned copies of important documents and stored them in a safe place. Every move was careful, calculated, and invisible. Amanda, meanwhile, kept pretending to be the perfect wife. She cooked his favorite meals, texted him sweet messages, and told friends how grateful she was for such a hard-working husband. He watched her with quiet disgust. Every smile she gave him felt fake, but he played along, knowing the clock was ticking. Then he took the next step. He edited the video footage, cutting it down to the parts that mattered most. Amanda mocking him, Marcus talking about milking him for money, her toasting to free cash and lies. He burned copies onto USB drives, slipped them into plain envelopes, and mailed them anonymously to Amanda's parents and her closest friends. Days later, things in the house started to shift. Amanda became uneasy. She kept getting strange calls, short conversations followed by long silences. She deleted texts quickly, paced around the house more often, and stared out the window like something was coming. She would smile at him, but her eyes looked worried. The cracks were starting to show. One evening, as they were sitting on the couch, she finally broke the silence. "Did you," she started, voice trembling, "did you send something to my parents?" He looked at her, calm as ever, and raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" She didn't answer right away. Her hands were shaking. Her voice had lost its usual sharpness. He didn't give her anything, no confession, no clues, just silence. Because now, she was starting to feel what he had felt, and this was only the beginning. He had always been careful with money. Before leaving for his 6-month oil rig job overseas, he had asked Amanda to sign a post-nuptial agreement. At the time, he told her it was to protect both of them while he earned a higher income. She didn't argue much, just signed it and moved on, probably thinking it didn't mean anything. But now, that document was his secret weapon. He took the video evidence, the DNA results, and the post-nup to his lawyer. Together, they built a strong, quiet case. Every detail was covered. The lawyer advised him to remain calm and let Amanda continue thinking she was safe. So he did. He smiled. He ate dinner with her. He kissed her forehead before bed. And behind the scenes, he prepared for financial annihilation. He waited until the timing was perfect. One Friday morning, He walked into their bank and transferred most of the funds from their joint accounts into his protected one. Everything was done legally, thanks to the post-nup. Amanda had no clue until her card declined while grocery shopping later that day. She came home angry and confused. He simply said, "Maybe call the bank." The next day, she panicked. She tried being sweet, crying into his chest, asking if they could talk. She blamed stress, hormones, confusion. She said she still loved him and that they could work it out, but he didn't say much. He had seen the truth, heard her mock him, watched her kiss Marcus like their family meant nothing. Emma's real father, Marcus, refused to step up. When Amanda contacted him, he told her to handle it herself. He didn't want his name dragged into court or on child support papers. He wanted no responsibility and definitely no public shame. Amanda was on her own now. Then came the final blow. He waited until Amanda's birthday. She thought he forgot, pouting around the kitchen that morning. But later that afternoon, a knock came at the door. She opened it, expecting a delivery or maybe flowers. Instead, she was handed divorce papers. She froze, staring down at the envelope in silence. He stood behind her, watching calmly. "Happy birthday," he said softly, then walked away. In that moment, everything flipped. She realized she had lost the house, the money, the image, and the man who once would have done anything for her, and he didn't even look back. After the divorce papers were served, Amanda's world began to crumble fast. Word started spreading quietly at first, then louder. Her parents were the first to react after receiving the video. Disgusted and embarrassed, they called her in tears and told her they couldn't support what she'd done. Her mother blocked her number. Her father told her she needed to clean up her mess and then cut off all contact. Her friends split into two groups. A few stayed loyal, but most backed away. Some admitted they had always suspected something was wrong. One even confessed Amanda had once joked about keeping secrets to stay comfortable. That joke wasn't funny anymore. Amanda became known not as the cheated wife, but the one who had lied, manipulated, and humiliated her husband. Marcus didn't escape either. His girlfriend found out about the baby and the affair through mutual friends. She was furious. She dumped him in a public scene at a party, calling him a liar and a coward. Word spread fast, and soon Marcus was outed at work. His manager heard about the scandal and quietly reduced his hours. People didn't want to work with him anymore. Meanwhile, the narrator stayed silent until he posted a redacted version of the story online. No names, no exact locations, just facts. A man returns from a work trip to find a baby that isn't his, and everything unravels from there. The post blew up. Thousands of people commented. Some shared similar stories. Others praised him for staying calm and smart. The post went viral across platforms. It became a symbol of quiet revenge and self-respect. Amanda saw the post. Even without her name, she knew it was about her. She messaged him asking to meet and clear the air. She said the public version made her look worse than she was. She wanted to share her side, maybe do a joint post. He didn't respond right away. Instead, he agreed to a televised interview with a podcast host. He shared his full story. Again, no names, no photos, no legal trouble, just truth. Amanda watched the interview from her apartment, now alone. Her face was never shown, but the world heard the story, and it wasn't hers to control anymore. After the divorce, Amanda tried to regain control in the only way she thought she could, by going after him for child support. Even though the DNA test had already proven he wasn't Emma's father, she filed for joint custody and financial support. Her argument was that he had acted as a father figure and had a responsibility to continue supporting the child. It was a desperate move, but she hoped the court would lean in her favor. He didn't panic. He handed everything over to his lawyer, the signed post-nup, the DNA results, and the timeline of events. His lawyer was ready and sharp. Together, they built a case that left no room for doubt. They filed a countersuit and requested the court subpoena Marcus for paternity testing. Marcus tried to avoid the spotlight, but he was legally forced to show up. When the paternity test came back, it confirmed what everyone already knew. He was the biological father. He looked miserable in court, sitting with his head down as Amanda sat across from him, trying to hold herself together. On the stand, Amanda tried to play the victim. She cried, talked about sleepless nights, and how she felt abandoned. But when the lawyer began asking her to explain the timeline, her lies began to unravel. She couldn't explain why she never mentioned the pregnancy while he was away. She had no defense against the recorded video or the written evidence. Her voice cracked, her hands trembled. She eventually broke down in tears. The judge was clear and firm. There would be no joint custody. The man who had raised questions wasn't the biological father and had been deceived from the start. There was no legal reason he should support a child that wasn't his. The court ruled entirely in his favor. Amanda was left with full custody and zero financial help. Marcus didn't offer support, and the court didn't force him at that time. She was alone, responsible for everything. As for him, he walked out of the courtroom with his dignity intact. He hadn't yelled, hadn't made a scene, hadn't lost control. He had let the truth and the law do the work, and in the end, he was finally free. From Amanda, from the lies, and from a life that was never truly his. After the court battle ended in his favor, he decided it was time to speak the full truth, uncensored. He had stayed quiet long enough, letting silence and legal steps do the heavy lifting. But now, with everything settled, the moment had come. An invitation came from a popular podcast known for true betrayal stories. He accepted. The interview lasted almost 2 hours. He calmly shared everything, from the overseas job to the shocking return home, and every painful detail in between. He spoke about the baby, the strange behavior, the hidden cameras, and the cruel words caught on tape. He told how the lies were uncovered, the legal steps taken, and how the truth destroyed the mask Amanda had worn for so long. His voice stayed steady, never bitter, just focused on facts. When the episode was posted, it went viral within days. Thousands listened. The story hit home for many. People flooded the comments section, praising the calm strength and careful planning. Listeners called it the cleanest revenge ever and a masterclass in self-control. Some said it gave them courage to face their own betrayals. Though no real names were revealed, people online started putting the pieces together. Small clues from old photos and public posts made the story easy to trace. Amanda became the center of online storms. While nothing official was said, her name began trending on message boards. She was mocked, dragged, and held up as a warning sign. No matter how much she tried to deny or explain, no one was listening anymore. Marcus didn't escape either. Someone at his workplace shared the podcast episode. Whispers started in the office, and soon even managers caught wind of it. A few weeks later, he was quietly let go. Reputation ruined, bridges burned. Meanwhile, support poured in. Emails from strangers, praise from professionals, and even job offers from companies that admired how the situation was handled. Calm, smart, no drama. People respected that. One night in a quiet apartment overlooking the city, he sat alone. The noise had faded. The lies were behind him. A glass of whiskey rested in his hand as the city lights shimmered through the window. Everything lost had been replaced with peace. And peace, after everything, felt like the greatest victory of all. 6 months passed, and life looked completely different. The chaos, the betrayal, and the courtroom battles were all behind him. In their place, peace had taken root. His new apartment was quiet and clean, no lies hiding in the corners. He had picked up a job he actually enjoyed. Less money than the oil fields, but more time, more freedom. He slept better. He smiled more. Slowly, he started letting people back into his world. He joined a local gym, spent weekends hiking or reading. Eventually, he even went on a few dates. Nothing serious at first, just coffee, walks, honest conversations. No masks, no games. For the first time in years, he was in no rush. He wanted something real, but this time, on his terms. Trust had to be earned, not assumed. The betrayal had left scars, but it also left lessons. He had become sharper, stronger, and wiser. He didn't ignore red flags anymore. He trusted actions over words. And most importantly, he trusted himself. One morning, an email arrived. It was from Amanda. The subject line was one word: sorry. He stared at it for a few seconds, then opened it. The message was long. She talked about regret, loneliness, and how everything had gone wrong. She said she missed what they had and wished things were different. She didn't ask for a second chance, just forgiveness. He didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. Weeks later, a letter came in the mail. No return address, just his name on the front. Inside was a single page, handwritten. It was from Marcus. The tone was different. Not an apology, but a confession. Marcus wrote that after the podcast, he had lost his job, his girlfriend, and most of his friends. His reputation was gone, and he blamed no one but himself. He ended the note with a single line: "You handled it better than I ever could." Reading the letter, he felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, just clarity. What they lost was their own doing. What he gained, peace, strength, and self-worth, came from within. He folded the letter, placed it in a drawer, and got ready for his day. The past was over. The rise had already begun. That was everything. From the day he came home and saw the baby in her arms to the moment he read that final letter, his entire world had changed. Not just the relationship, but how he saw people, trust, and even himself. He wasn't sharing this for attention or pity. He shared it because someone out there might be ignoring red flags right now. Someone might be doubting their gut. To that person, pay attention. Don't let sweet words cover up bad patterns. Don't let someone tell you what you feel isn't real. Whether you're a man or a woman, anyone can be lied to. Anyone can be used. What matters is what happens after the truth comes out. Don't lose yourself trying to hold on to someone who already let go of you. Be smart. Protect what you've worked for. And don't ever feel guilty for walking away from someone who hid their real face from you. If this hit close to home, you're not alone. A friend of his went through something just as painful. Different situation, but the same kind of betrayal. That experience will be shared soon too. But for now, there's just one final thing to say. He walked away without yelling, without begging, without revenge fueled by hate. He walked away in control. He rebuilt from nothing, stronger than before. The ones who tried to use him ended up with exactly what they deserved. Nothing. And no, Emma will never know he existed. Do you think walking away without a fight was the best move? Or should he have confronted Amanda and Marcus one last time? I'd love to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you don't want to miss a new video, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update.